Bless you.
Now, hello. Today we will introduce barbecue and outside cooking.
The term 控窑 refers to cooking food in pit oven and earth oven. Today, people see 控窑 as an outdoor activity. In the past, after crops were harvested, farmers usually built a pit in the middle of field. In ancient times, people did not have much food in Taiwan, so they sometimes stole from others. And then they built a pit and cook the food they took and eat. Today, 控窑 is still Taiwanese memories. It symbolizes not only cultural tradition, but also gatherings of family and friends. When I was 10, I usually did this activity with my cousin and my uncles. Things that we put in pit include eggs, chicken, potato, and whatever we want to eat. Of course, nowadays we do not do this activity just anywhere in the field. There are certain places for people to do this activity, but you need to pay money to use these places, so I seldom do this activity today.
Next, we will introduce another dish that people cook outdoor called bamboo tube rice. People put rice and some ingredients in bamboo tube and steam it so that the aroma of bamboo tube will seep into the rice and is only available at tourist spots. The way to make it is very easy. Here's how. First, you need to prepare a segment of bamboo tube, some glutinous rice, lean meat, ham. Next, cut the bamboo tube in half and soak in water for half a day. At the same time, wash the rice and steep it for 10 hours. After that, put some ingredients such as lean meat and rice in bamboo tube for 7 tenths full. After the above steps are completed, put bamboo tube rice in boiling water for 1 hour. Then you can enjoy chewy and aromatic bamboo tube rice. Take my experience for example. When I was studying in junior high school, I made bamboo tube rice by myself. Of course, at that time, making bamboo tube rice with complex steps made me confused. However, after I made it for several times, those complicated steps no longer a problem to me. Making bamboo tube rice by myself not only tasty, but also making a sense of accomplishment to me. If you get a chance to come to Taiwan, try to make bamboo tube by yourself and enjoy this delicious food.
Slate barbecue is another way that people cook outside. Slate barbecue originated from Taiwanese indigenous people's cooking. Nowadays, people can just buy a box of slate barbecue pork or beef at night market. Last weekend, I went to a night market and bought a box of slate barbecue. The food stand is owned by a Taiwanese indigenous person. A serving of slate barbecue costs about 100 NT dollars, which is 3.3 US dollars. Actually, slate barbecue includes sausage, garlic, onions, scallions, and the most important thing, meat. It is really tasty. Oh, in addition, the vendors also sell bamboo tube rice and grilled sausage. You can buy them from the same vendors. Now we will show you how the Taiwanese indigenous people cook the slate barbecue. First, you can cook the slate barbecue by yourself. First, you need to get a slate and heat it with fire. Second, pour some cooking oil and wait until the oil is heated. Then Put the pork and sausage or any other kind of meat you prefer on the slate. After a few minutes, add condiment like rice wine, garlic, or salt and pepper. Wait until the meat is finely grilled. Then you can taste the delicious slate barbecue. Thanks for your attention. Do you have any questions?
Yes. We go back to that slide where it showed the barbecue pit. Now, at the very beginning, if you don't mind. Okay. Now, how do you cook with it? Is that coals or charcoal, or how do they fire that pit up?
How do you cook this? How do you fire it up?
We after we build a pit, we will make a fire after we hit the mud. We will put the food in the pit.
Okay. And what do you cook the? Okay, is it on a rack or is it on a stone? What's the meat and stuff that you cook? What do you put it on?
Can you repeat again?
Yeah. Okay, I see this beautiful pit and I see the stones, but where do you put the things to cook? Do you put it inside the stones, or do you put it on top of the stones, or where do you put it?
Okay, so here comes the tradition. Only Brian knows the traditional way to do this. Okay, go. Okay, so you have to dig up a big, huge hole in the ground. And with the mud, the dirt that you dig up, you mold the dirt into balls of clay or bricks. With the dirt that you dig up, you mold them into bricks or clay. Yeah. And you lay the brick on one on top of another, so that there is a oven-like thing.
Right.
And then put. Do you have a video? Oh, really? Okay, you can find one. Okay, and later they will find a video for you. And also, what did you say? Oh, put some wood inside the pit and burn the wood.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Then you put the wood inside them, right?
Burn those bricks.
Burn the brick and along with the wood. So heat it up and.
Around 1.5 hours to 2 hours.
Okay, so 1 to 2 hours, so that the oven, mud clay oven, is well heated, and then you put your food inside.
No.
Not yet.
Yeah.
So it takes a long time.
Until the brick, those bricks looks red.
Okay, so until the mud, dirt, clay brick looks reddish.
Yeah.
Right.
And then remove all the wood.
Remove the wood.
Yeah, and put chicken.
Do you need to wrap them in foil,
Yeah.
aluminum foil? So wrap your food in aluminum foil and stuff it inside the heat oven.
Yeah, and then break down to cover all the food.
So break down the brick, and so that it covers up the entire, the food, the aluminum foil food that you just place inside and wait.
Wait for around 1 hour.
1 hour, another hour.
And then you can remove all the
So
food.
it's actually quite time consuming.
Yeah, no, I didn't see a rack, so I guess you just put the food and fall directly into the fire.
Oh, no, not directly into a fire. You actually have to heat up the clay bricks.
Right.
And then use that heated clay brick to use the heat to cover up the food, and then cook the food.
Okay, good. And then on the slate operates just like the top of the oven, and you heat from below the slate, and then the slate. Okay, yeah. Okay, I understand that one. I just wanted to make sure.
Do you have a video now?
Yeah.
Okay, go. We
Because-
have a video.
Because it took around 3 to 4 hours, so we usually prepare some snake, some other food. When we wait, those, yeah.
Can you see the video?
Oh, yeah. That is neat.
It's not easy to stack up the,
No.
sometimes it falls down, yeah. It's,
Their skill is not very good. So,
trying different ways to stack up the clay brick things. Brian's saying that it is important to remove the wood after the wood is done with the fire making part, because that will help with the planting of things afterwards.
Okay. So these would be recreational areas that they use over and over again then, right?
You mean the place?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So food is wrapped in aluminum foil.
Oh, yeah, you can put corn and stuff in there too. That's neat.
Yeah.
that's we call
Eggs.
it.
And eggs too.
Oh, wow.
Something that you cannot eat, right?
Yeah, I don't, but I mean, I love chocolate corn like that. That'd be good.
So that's chicken that was removed from the aluminum foil.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that's something that is not done like that in the States, right? No?
No, I've seen in other countries something similar to that, but we're much more like the barbecue grill type of stuff.
Hmm.
And then our barbecue grills get really elaborate. I have a guy that was doing a video on it, but he didn't get done. And our seniors are off this week, so they're graduating, so I don't know what happened to him, but we could spend $400 or $500 on barbecue grills, and people have backyard barbecue grills with either natural gas or butane, and they cook up a storm. Outdoor barbecue is very popular here in the States.
Yes.
Not too much digging out anything.
So any questions for Mr. Cunningham and USA or outside cooking? Yeah. I'm sure Mr. Cunningham has lots of experience.
Oh, yeah. I wish. I have a couple questions. How often do you guys eat outside during the summer?
How often do we eat outside first? How often do we do outside cooking or
Outside cooking
or
buy
barbecue?
something from outside.
Barbecue?
Yeah.
How
often do you, or just everybody?
Once a year.
You?
In my house, yes, in my family, we barbecue once a year.
Once a year, okay. Probably for a holiday or a special occasion. And what would be their favorite food? Chicken, pork, or beef?
Pork and beef. Yeah. We bake.
You bacon?
Uh,
Or do you barbecue them?
We barbecue with pork and beef and sweet potato or corn and some vegetables like carrots and
Corn?
corn. Okay.
Yeah, and also wrap them in aluminum foil sometimes too, and put them over the grill.
Yeah.
makes them easily heated.
Do you ever eat potatoes and onions and peppers and all together too?
Do we have potatoes and onions and pepper, green pepper?
Yeah.
Yes, we have green pepper.
Yes, we have green pepper and potato or onions.
Yeah.
But in my house, we don't like to eat green pepper and and onions.
Oh, wow.
Family.
In his family.
Yeah.
Some other families eat those.
Don't like
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah. You had a question?
Yes. Can you share some traditional outside cookings in America with us?
Yes. We just had Memorial Day, and Memorial Day is normally barbecue. And the two favorite, that starts our summer season, although summer doesn't really officially begin until the end of June here. But when Memorial Day came, it was the last Monday in May. Normally, what people in the United States would do is they will barbecue either hamburgers or hot dogs outside. And Nathan's Hot Dogs, which is a very famous hot dog stand in Coney Island, and Coney Island is in New York. It was an arcade area, but Nathan's is probably the biggest. They have a hot dog eating contest each year, and they sponsor how many people can eat the most hot dogs. And I think same guys won the last couple of years in a row, Joey Chestnut. And I forget how many he set this year, but he ate 70-something hot dogs in a short period of time. But what you would see traditionally in the United States would probably be potato salad, maybe coleslaw, depending on where you're at, barbecue beans. We have what's called brisket, or in Texas we have brisket, either brisket or fajitas. Fajitas is a similar type of meat cut up and they put into a taco. Then you'd have peppers, onions, and stuff like that to go with it. Or traditionally, I'm more familiar with is cooking hamburgers or hot dogs outside.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody else have a question?
And have you ever held the barbecue with your parents or your sons before?
Yes. We've had barbecues with my parents. Normally out by, when my parents were both alive, they both have passed on now, but they're both alive. When we first got married, we would have a barbecue out by our swimming pool. My parents had a swimming pool in the backyard. Then in the house I had before, the house I had presently, we had a backyard pool. And we had a barbecue pit right by it. And it's very popular in the States to invite people over to go swimming and then barbecue and sit out on the deck and watch. Especially when you have natural gas, it's really kind of nice. So you don't have to worry so much about it cooks very evenly. In both cases, I'd entertain my parents as an adult and as a child, and I was dating my wife at the time. We would come over and have barbecue for them, and normally that would be 4th of July, which is a real big thing here. We celebrate our Declaration of Independence, July 4th, 1776. When the United States signed a declaration that they're independent from Great Britain. But they will have apple pie, ice cream, a lot of times homemade ice cream. If you never made homemade ice cream, it's kind of neat, cranked ice cream. And then they would barbecue as well. You see a lot of it around the swimming pool type of area. But yeah, my parents were very big on barbecue.
Thanks for your sharing.
Oh, yeah.
So how often would you say in average Texan, I would say, barbecue?
Well, my son-in-law has a barbecue pit, and he probably cooks out once or twice a weekend, every weekend, the whole year round. And there are some people that literally have contests. We have a chili cook-off, several famous chili cook-offs here where they barbecue meat and then they put it into chili. We have a fajita contest. So in Texas, you would see a barbecue almost every single weekend. I've never seen anybody cook out every day, but if you had a gas grill or something, it would be pretty neat to do. Barbecue is very, very popular here in Texas. A lot of barbecue places. You can get a pound of beef or half a pound of beef. You get sliced beef for sandwiches, and you can take it home or whatever. And then we have little carts, not carts, but one of our assistant principals actually, her husband owns a food truck, and they sell barbecue and stuff too. We have a very famous barbecue place here in Austin called Franklin's, and there people wait in line. They get in the line at 7 o'clock in the morning, and the place opens up at 11, and the line is like blocks long every single day. So they hire people to wait in line to get the barbecue for them.
Wow.
Yeah, and that's over here off 11th Street. We probably have, in a little town of Lockhart, which is about 50 miles south of here, there's two very famous barbecue places. And then Franklin's in Austin's probably about 7 miles away. And then when President Obama came a couple of years ago, they shut down the whole area here because he wanted to go eat barbecue. And make a long story short, they had Secret Service out here. We couldn't, I only lived about 20 miles away from my work. But it took me 2.5 hours to get home because we had to go like 40 miles out of the way because they had all the roads shut down because of the president, because he wanted to go eat barbecue.
Wow.
So yeah, barbecue is very, very popular, even amongst the very affluent people. Barbecue ribs are very popular too. I'm not, so I'm devotee of it, but that's why I asked about pork. In the southeastern part of the United States, you'll see a lot of pulled pork. It would be pulled pork would be shredded up, not ham, but pork. And then here in Texas, we probably have a lot more beef than anything else. But also in Mexico and in West Texas, we barbecue goats. They would actually barbecue a goat over an open pit. And it tastes really good.
Thank you.
And a couple of years ago, I don't know if you remember, I don't know if you saw it, Mary, we had a school from Ghana, Africa, and they cut up a antelope and barbecued the antelope during the course of us talking. And then, this is about 9 years ago now, they barbecued, in Louisiana, they barbecued the alligator on it. So they started out at the beginning of the show, and 3 hours later, they were eating the alligator. So yeah, you can barbecue alligator, they barbecue the antelope, all kinds of stuff.
Wow, everybody, I'm seeing students go, wow, alligator, barbecue alligator.
Yeah, and they tell me, what does alligator taste like? They say, it tastes like chicken. I don't believe it. But, yeah, everybody says that, I taste like chicken. Okay, great. I don't think so, but, that's what they said. I haven't eaten an alligator, or I guess maybe near area you call them crocodiles, but I haven't eaten one. But, to me, it doesn't look like the most appealing thing. And in some parts of Texas, they eat armadillos. It's another, an armadillo supposedly tastes like ham.
Yeah, so, alligator. Oh, and according to what Mr. Cunningham heard, some people say it tastes like chicken. We don't know because we can only take what they what they tell us.
Right, and that was this lady from Jennings, Louisiana, and she ended up becoming a principal and never did do anything again. But this is back in 2010 or 11, and they barbecued for this last one. They barbecued a alligator, and that same year they slit a antelope. They went outside the school in Ghana, caught an antelope on the school grounds, slit the throat, bled it out, and then dressed it, and then barbecued it all in the throughout the time we did it. That was really interesting.
So antelope is somewhat like a deer, right?
Yeah. It looks like a gazelle. It would, and they eat antelope. Like we would eat deer here. Well, we have a lot of deer, and deer is very popular. A lot of times they'll make deer jerky and venison, which is deer meat, and they even, some places will sell you barbecue deer, or barbecue bear, or barbecue buffalo too, or exotic meat.
Bear, buffalo, wow.
Yeah, bear meat. I've had eaten bear meat before. It's very, very interesting taste. It's very strange, the meat I had. But I mean, I've just tasted it one time when I was with my grandparents, and we went to a place and they had bear and they had this. They said, "Well, you need to eat this, Mike, because one day you'll tell people you ate bear." So I'm telling my grandparents didn't lie. Actually, I'm telling you now, I ate bear. But
Can you describe how it tastes like? I mean,
it's really true. It felt like you chewing it, and it felt like it was gum. It just kept on getting bigger in your mouth. So I really wasn't too impressed by it, but they had bear meat, they had deer meat, they had I don't know if they had moose, but this was up in Minnesota. They had about 10 or 15 different exotic deals. Then they had buffalo burgers. And of course, buffalo burgers, I could not tell the difference between a cow hamburger and a buffalo hamburger. It didn't taste any much different to me at all.
Yes, you can barbecue all different kinds of animals.
Oh yeah, historically, barbecuing comes back to the days. We see like when you saw those kung yao. Those pits are very similar to what the Mongols used all along the Silk Road, goes into Persia, goes into the Middle East. And they cooked a lot of different things like that. Today, in many cases, they're still cooked in some of those ovens like that, and they just stick it on the side of the oven, and they have flatbreads, and then they roll up their meat and stuff. They cook the meat, and it's like barbecue meat, and it looks like we would say a tortilla here in Texas, but it's just flatbread. It's kind of neat to see the similarities, I'm surprised with your culture that you may not have a lot more fried fish. People don't barbecue fish.
We do have some fried fish. We do. Not everyone takes fish too, or eat a lot of fish. Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Is there a certain day that everyone will go barbecue in USA?
Okay, what was the first part of that? There was a certain what?
Certain day or holiday.
Oh yeah. Big days would be Memorial Day, which passed in the end of May. 4th of July, which is our Independence Day, and then the traditional end of summer, which is Labor Day, and those are big barbecue days. Now we've also started another tradition, and this one is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is in November. It was the fourth Thursday in November, and a lot of times people are barbecuing turkeys now. They'll put turkey in a barbecuer, and they will barbecue a deep fried turkey, barbecue turkey, all kinds of stuff like that. So you start seeing, but the biggest ones would be the summer ones, Memorial Day, 4th of July, and Labor Day. That's the beginning, middle, and end of summer.
Oh, thank you. Because in Taiwan, Well, we don't barbecue once or twice a week. Just like a student just say, maybe they will only barbecue once a year. But people in Taiwan usually barbecue in a holiday called Moon Festival.
Right.
Yeah, it is actually a day that people will before they will eat moon cakes, but because of a commercial thing, I think so commercial that people in Taiwan started to barbecue on that holiday. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty familiar with your celebration because I've seen Mary's done a lot of stuff on mooncakes before. It's very interesting. How about New Year's? Chinese New Year's? Did people barbecue at Chinese New Year's or no?
Well, in my case, I don't barbecue on New Year's. So I don't know. Do you barbecue?
Does anyone barbecue on New Year?
Yes.
No,
You
we
do?
No.
I know some.
Okay, but not very few people barbecue on the Chinese New Year's Day. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mostly a family gathering thing, and family gatherings here don't necessarily mean barbecue. They could go out to a restaurant together, or they might cook the whole meal together, as a family.
Now, in Texas, Christmas time is a big time to barbecue too around here, and even New Year's, especially in our part of Texas where it's fairly warm now. In some areas where it's absolutely frigid and got snow, you only see barbecuing in the summer. But in our part of Texas, we may have 90-degree temperature Fahrenheit in any month of the year. So I've seen people with shorts on during Christmas time, even New Year's barbecuing. So you could, in Texas, barbecue every single month of the year. In fact, a lot of people do, especially in our part of Texas.
I would say, with any given chance, people in Texas would like to barbecue.
Yeah,
right?
and in fact, so much so that a lot of newer homes, especially the real nice ones, have outdoor kitchens, and in the outdoor kitchen you would have a barbecue pit that would be similar to a built-in brick deal, like a compound, but it would be built in, and then it would be natural gas or whatever. But you would literally see that entertaining, and you also see that out. If you're watching the home shows and stuff on cable, you'll see that in California a lot too. But in a temperate climate where it's fairly warm and you don't have snow, you'll see it a lot more frequently.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
What do you usually drink with barbecue?
Okay. In Texas,
Someone is shouting beer from behind.
Yes. In Texas, they have an adult beverage called beer. Beer is probably the most ancient of all drinks. It's used by the Egyptians. It was used by almost every civilization, and it's very inexpensive, except when you have to buy it. I mean, it's inexpensive to make. And beer and barbecue seem to go hand in hand. Now, in Texas, if you're not of age to drink beer, or if you're young, or if you don't really like the taste of beer, we have a couple other. We have iced tea. We don't drink a whole lot of hot tea here in Texas because it's really hot all the time. Not that. We drink a lot more iced tea. Now, if you don't like iced tea, and if you have a sugar level that can stand it, people will drink a soda. And the two most popular sodas in my area would be Dr. Pepper or Coca-Cola. Dr. Pepper was originally designed here in Waco, Texas. It was a patent medicine, and the initials were 10, 2, and 4. And when I say patent medicine, sodas originally were sold at a drugstore to cure certain things. And Dr. Pepper had prune juice in it, and they'd go to the bathroom at 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. So people would buy it as a patent medicine. They put the name Dr. Pepper on it, so it sounded like it was a legitimate deal. And people would drink it. It was a syrupy-looking thing, and they would be in a little shelf, and the bottle would be about 6 or 7 inches tall, and it would fit into a shelf. Now, in the early part of 1919, the United States passed a law which made prohibition. So, 1919 to 1933, we could not drink here in the United States. It was illegal to make any kind of beer or anything like that. You had bootleggers and stuff like this. And you may have studied in history about Al Capone and some of the bootleggers in Chicago and how much they made. But there was a company that was making a tremendous amount of bottles for beer. The bottles were 12-ounce glass bottles. So Pepsi-Cola bought out the glass bottles, and Pepsi-Cola became the first cola company to put their bottle, not in the patent medicine, but into the bottle. And they started, their commercial was Pepsi-Cola hits the spot, 12 whole ounces, that's a lot, nickel, 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 nickel. Very, very popular commercial. So for a nickel, you got twice as much drink as anybody else. So Pepsi-Cola did it, then Coca-Cola did it. Before the war, all of these sodas were sold hot. After the war, World War I, because of Prohibition, the barkeeps and stuff, they had long necks on the bottle. And the long neck was, you had to keep the beer cold. So instead of the person's putting their hands down into the ice, he would just pick up the neck of the bottle. And that's when, before refrigeration, we started selling Coca-Colas and Dr. Peppers that way too. So because of Prohibition, we get Coca-Cola and Dr. Pepper. We get them selling 12 ounces in the bottle, and we get that cold. Before that, none of that happened. So that's where I gave you a whole history lesson of. So before that, the number one drink in the United States is called Moxie, M-O-X-I-E. It's only sold in 2 states now, I think, of the Northeast, and it tastes like very interesting, like cough syrup.
Cough syrup.
It's you know, have you ever drank like cod liver oil and stuff like that?
No. You mean that oil?
Yeah. Fish oil. You know, like I'm of the age where if you got sick, your parents would feed you all kinds of like home remedies. Okay, and
fish cod oil.
Yeah, cod oil. Okay. And to me, Moxie kind of tastes like that. Most of these patent medicines were really, really sweet or sick and sweet. They weren't really good. But then when they started selling the sodas like that and selling it cold, it had a whole different taste. So that took off. And ever since, you know, the 1920s, we sold cold sodas. And that's very popular in barbecue places. So you won't see too much milk. You won't see soy milk. You won't see almond milk. But you will see either iced tea, Coca-Cola, Dr. Pepper, or beer.
I have a small question about the Dr. Pepper. What was it originally used to cure, for? What was it used to cure?
Okay. When a person could not go to the restroom.
Oh, really?
And they had if you look at their old logo, they had 10 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 4 o'clock. And the idea was if you took Dr. Pepper, you could be regular in your bowel movements and stuff.
Wow.
What they put in there was prune juice.
Prune juice?
Yeah. And then they would also put caffeine because caffeine would make you get a little high, and then you come back, you want to take more caffeine. So, you get headaches, so you want to take more caffeine. And Dr. Pepper no longer has prune juice in it because it's too expensive, but they still have the caffeine. And they no longer have real sugar; they have fructose corn syrup. But that's what it originally was, and they'll say 10, 2, and 4. So you learn some stuff here today that you can do everywhere.
Very, very interesting. Thank you for the facts.
Yeah, sorry.
Interesting. Yeah, we have another question. Yeah, go Joe.
After you wake up in the morning, will you choose barbecue to be your breakfast? Because when I surf the internet, a lot of people say that American will choose such as burger or steak to be their breakfast. Yeah, so I don't know whether you will choose barbecue or not.
Hey, I'm not going to lie to you. I eat oatmeal every day, but some people will eat barbecue for breakfast. And I'll explain why. Sometimes leftovers, they'll just take whatever is left over, especially if you're college or whatever, you'll just eat that. But in Texas, we have what's called breakfast tacos. Excuse my voice, it's all over the place. I have a real sore voice. The breakfast taco, a lot of times, will have barbecue in it. And they will heat the breakfast taco up. The breakfast taco is made out of corn tortillas or flour tortillas, preferably flour tortillas. And that's extremely popular here in Texas. So I know people that would eat barbecue every single day for breakfast. They'll eat a breakfast taco. You are right. It's very popular in some parts of the country. They might would eat in the southeast. They might would eat grits and pulled pork. In Texas, they would eat breakfast tacos. If you're in a northern part and you're from Scandinavian countries, they would probably eat lefse, Lefse. It's a potato, flatbread type of stuff rolled up, and they could put barbecue meat into it as well. But it is, especially with young people, say that they grab a cup of coffee. A lot of kids your age grab a cup of coffee and a couple of breakfast tacos, and they're good to go. I don't think it's a good meal, but I'm just telling you, there's no telling what the blood pressure and cholesterol and everything else is after a while. But if you're young, I guess you go for it. But yeah, you're right. Exactly happens. Breakfast tacos will run you $1 or $2 a taco, so it's fairly inexpensive.
That sounds like a good deal. And,
Yeah.
And one is enough, right? One taco is enough?
Okay. I don't know. I can't eat more than one taco myself, but a lot of people eat a couple tacos. It just depends on the size and stuff. I was I should actually bring some. Freddie would have been here. He normally brings them every day. So we used to have students parents would make them and they sell them at school. It's a big way to make money and fundraiser and other things at school too.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Anybody else? Yeah.
Do you barbecue sweet food?
Do we barbecue? What type of food?
Sweet food.
Sweet foods.
Yeah.
That's a good question. I hadn't. I've seen stuff where you do put a lot of. Okay. Much of the food that you have, they put barbecue sauce on it. And just like that kung pao, when you cook stuff, a lot of it's slow cooked. And it's slow cooked for hours. And they put like brown sugar. They put different relishes. They put in a lot of sweet. I've seen people put in sweet wines. Liquor up, put it into the and cook it off. But I've never actually seen. I've seen it in the sauces. I've never seen it in the things. Now, some people will eat like sweet potatoes and barbecue sweet potatoes, and they taste really, really good steamed. I think you guys do that. I've never seen anything like pies or cakes or anything like that, if you're talking about sweet, but a lot of barbecue sauces. In fact, I went to the store Sunday, and we have a whole row at not department store, fruit store, the large row, nothing but barbecue sauces. So I mean, you would have like 6 or 7 shelves, and then a long row of nothing but, one side of the one side's all kinds of ketchups, the other side is barbecue sauces. And today we have more barbecue sauces than we have ketchups. So barbecue sauce, and they may have all kinds of stuff in it. We have barbecue sauce with soy sauce in it, and we have barbecue sauce with all kinds of sweet stuff in it. Like different things. So you may cook with a lot of to make it a lot sweeter. So you end up with a very sweet taste for some of the meats.
Thank you.
Hope that answers you.
Usually the sauce is applied to the meat after it's been grilled, right?
No.
Right?
Both. It's both. They marinate it, and a lot of times, if you go into these barbecues, they marinate it for hours, and then they open up the cooker, and then they marinate it again and again and again. So if it takes like 4 or 5 hours, you are literally basting that meat in this stuff, and then you would apply it at the end too. So there's actually some barbecue sauce that has Dr. Pepper in it as well.
Oh, Dr. Pepper again.
Yeah, and I've known people that barbecue and beer and all kinds of stuff. So it is I guess it's an art form. And, a lot of people have secret ingredients, but they don't like to really show too much. And we have a lot of barbecue in Texas. Literally, adults will spend thousands of dollars getting a grill, and then they go down on the weekends and they would have contests to try who has the best barbecue and stuff like that. We just had a barbecue at our church Saturday night last, and it was hosted by a company, a catering company, and it was really good.
The only sauce that the students were here were, the sweet and sour sauce.
Right.
Like the ones that McDonald's have. Otherwise, we don't have a lot of barbecue sauces in Taiwan.
Well, I mean, I'll try to take a picture and send to you. I was thinking about that the other day, but literally speaking, it was probably 40 feet of shelves, 5 shelves high, 40 feet long, of just barbecue sauces. So they literally have, that tells you how big barbecue is here in where I live here in Texas, is that you literally, if you bought this one meat, you got free barbecue sauce. So my wife says, okay, go over and pick out the barbecue sauce. That's a good one, because there's like 17 different kinds of this one kind. So I picked out barbecue sauce, and she said, well, you should pick out this other kind. So I went back over there. I was going back and forth, I didn't realize that you could find all these different kinds of barbecue sauces. But it's amazing. But no, it's a lot different than McDonald's.
Huge market out there.
Yes, and barbecue, like I said, brisket, ribs, and all that. You can buy. You just buy like a rack of ribs to cut on the grill any time of the year here.
Thank you so much. Any last questions? If not, I'm sorry, we didn't get the last part.
No, what I was trying to say is that any time during the year you can have brisket, you have ribs, and you go down to the store and you can just buy, 40, 50 pounds of stuff to barbecue.
Wow.
Yeah, it's
We really should go there, and enjoy the barbecue culture.
Yeah, I don't know, I guess I'm more used to it. I don't think it's all that great, but, that's just me. Some people just die for it, so. I'll probably go there and eat a bunch of good Chinese food.
Okay, so, thank you so much. The students really enjoyed asking you the questions, and we learned so much. I mean, every time we get to know so much from you, and there's always something new that you can share with us. So interesting, so amazing.
Okay, I'll send that stuff and I'll be in contact with you and I'll see you Thursday.
Okay, yeah, okay, and you've already sent me the link.
Right.
And are you gonna open up the session like half an hour before so that we can try to get connected if that's possible?
I'll be here real early that day. It won't be like right on. So I can open up as early as 7 our time.
Okay, thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye. Thank you. Thank you. Bye bye.